Young and flourishing, transforming Africa. We are grateful that you are watching Church of Uganda Family TV this evening, and the program you're watching is Flourishing Hub. Flourishing Hub is a program brought to you by Young and Flourishing Network. Now, this program is intended to give you the right mindset, especially you, the young person. We are giving you the right mindset so that you can thrive in this world. No matter what you're going through, no matter the economic strains that you're going through, as long as you have the right mindset, we are sure and we are convinced that you can overcome. Now, Young and Flourishing Network is built on 4 pillars, which pillars are the core pillars on which this program evolves. One of these is money. We all want money. We all love money. And it is the reason you wake up early in the morning, go work, and then go back home in the evening. Sometimes with money in the pocket, and sometimes without anything to take back home, but it is okay. Now, what does Young and Flourishing do, especially when it comes to money? They teach you how to work for money. Now, after working for money, it is important that they also open your eyes to saving. After saving the money, it will never accumulate until when you invest it. Now, they open your mind to all these basics of money. Therefore, financial literacy, financial discipline is very key as one of the pillars on which this program, Flourishing Hub, is built. Now, the second pillar is daring. Yes, we all want to start up businesses. Sometimes we despise that idea. Sometimes you see a lot of impossibilities, but it is okay. Have that dream, keep it, water it, and if you don't lose it, one day it will be a world-class business. So what Young and Flourishing does is to simply remind you that do not give up on that opportunity. Do not give up on that dream, because it will be at one time a world-class business. And the third pillar is strategy. We all need plans. Now, this is our last show this month of March. Next week we shall be in April. So we count the first quarter of the year gone. I know most of us had plans, so it is time for ticking. What have I achieved? What have I failed out with? But all in all, it is important that you have a plan on which your life revolves, because if you do not have a plan, you'll always be in other people's plans. That is why here on Flourishing Hub, we emphasize the issue of having a plan. And the last pillar is mentorship. This is another strong pillar that you need. We all want to be where other people have been, but if they don't tell you what they have gone through, if they don't tell you the behind story, behind the scene, where you are not, the secrets behind their success, the valleys that they have gone through, you know, the thick and thin that they have gone through to be where they are, then sometimes it is very possible that you'll crash. So before you crash, Young and Flourishing gives you this opportunity. It is the reason we bring here people who have been where we want to be. And I believe every Monday there is someone we speak to, as we are going to do today. Now, today we are blessed to have another interesting topic, another interesting discussion, especially when it comes to wellness in business. So with us is the one Prosi Nalwanga Kabenge. She's the director of Pro Wellness Vita Ltd, but she's also a passionate coach, especially when it comes to the young people. She wants so much to inspire the young people and the women. So she is also doing a lot of empowerment when it comes to women, especially in business. And she's doing a lot of things. So she's a member of the Business Network International, which is BNI. Of course, we've had very many people here talking about BNI. And we are glad that we have a president who has served the second time now, her second term as president in BNI. So, Prosi, you're most welcome on Flourishing Hub. We are delighted to have you this evening.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me on this show. I'm very, very glad and very passionate about seeing young people flourish and seeing others grow in business.
Sure. And it is the reason we are here every Monday at 9 a.m. up to 10. So, Prosi, I know I've talked about you just in a brief way. Can you please confidently greet our viewers and then tell them more, especially about the empowerment, the business empowerments you carry on with the women and the Pro Wellness Vita?
All right, thank you so much. Once again, my name is Nalwanga Kabenge, and I run a business called Pro Wellness Vita Limited. And in this business, we bring in nutritional supplements for all ages, right from infants to the adults. In this business, we also do facial products for both men and women. And we also have a line of weight loss guidance and advice. And I am very passionate about the wellness of people, the wellness of our young generation. As we know, we have seen that wellness is now affecting each and every person, and it's time to take note of the wellness of all individuals. Aside from that, I also do a project where I work with women to empower them in business again, to help them, empower them that it is doable to be a mother, to be a lady, and also flourish in business, not to give up. Okay. So I'm running 2 cohorts, and one cohort is in Kampala, and another cohort in Entebbe, but to be specific, in Garuga. And so with those ladies, we sit down and go through different aspects of business in order to help them also flourish in business.
Okay.
Another arm I'm strongly into is Business Network International. And for that arm, it is an entity which I joined, and its aim is to change the way people are doing business. Can we do business without worry of how are we going to get referrals to our businesses? So Business Network International works and is all over the world in over 74 countries. And this network brings together a lot of business members in and out of Uganda, and in that way we connect to see that business is done in a better way, and business is doable, and so there's a rich resource of knowledge going on in a network, and we all also build very great relationships that can steer our businesses forward. Okay. So basically those are the arms in which I am here today, to see that I can encourage young, flourishing people. And
surely, I want you to assure you who is watching us, that you don't need to go anywhere, because we have a rich field discussion this evening. So, Prosi, as we continue, I was so much interested when you talked about wellness, and we want to relate wellness and business, because you realize that very many people are depressed, very many people are stressed in offices, very many people are stressed in their businesses. Someone is frustrated to the extent that you find someone walking well, talking, thinking that maybe they're addressing someone, yet in actual sense they're speaking what is going on in their mind. So you realize, and the rates of mental health and depression are rising every now and then, and there's so much, especially in the business community, both in the employed employed entity, but also in the self-employed people. So let us start from there. What are some of the causes of these, and how can it be managed?
So you find that most people get into business around the age of 25 and
yes.
onwards. And these are the people who are having many of these issues. And you remember they have been on this earth for over 25 years. So their bodies are also wearing and tearing away slowly. And so that's when people have issues of inflammation, issues of sugars, issues of, you know, little issues that are cropping up. But many of these are ignored. They are ignored, and so they crop up into an actually serious disease. So you find at this age, what do you need to do as you're getting older? One, you need to look at all the different aspects. But the main single aspect of wellness, because wellness is an act where you want to look at these little habits and how these little habits are affecting your physical and mental health to ensure that you are a healthy human being. Yes. So you find at this age, if you ignore these mental and little habits that we have, okay, they will in turn affect your physical abilities. But it begins off with the simple physical tasks of every day, like what time do you wake up? Okay, what time do you sleep?
That is very important, actually.
Yes, you find that people don't rest enough. Okay, it's the time of the information age. People are on their gadgets. Okay, so that already is impeding, and so unless they notice these little things or about their wellness, when do they wake up? When do they sleep? Do they exercise? Do they have 30 minutes walk, maybe 3 times a week? Or are they spending a lot of time in cars from one journey to another? So you find that they slowly, these little habits crop up in affecting their physical. And now, because of all the changes that there is, you know, there's people struggling with bank loans that are being carried forward. Those are all issues that if they find your body already weak, okay, they come to you, they are slapping you with a loan, they are taking your house, and guess what? Your body has not been taken care of. Its wellness is poor. It means you are more liable to get ending up in a stroke or having pressure problems. So what do people need to do? Look at those aspects. Look at your physical aspect. Okay? Look at your social. Your social, we are looking at all these family ties. How is your family running? How are you connected to your family? What is your support system around you? So it is very important that we digress all those little aspects about wellness and how they are affecting people, especially after about the age of 25.
Okay. So you talked about the young people, people who join business at the age of 25, and then as we grow, the frustrations, of course, increase, and you know, a lot of things will always show up, and like we always say that higher level, higher devil. So, we want now to look at how the aspect of wellness affect business. Yes, much as you can attend to yourself and live a healthy life, but if you're not mindful about wellness, how can this business be affected?
All right, so you are here, you are a business owner. You've started your business and you try to ignore the wellness of even just, let's begin with your workers.
Yes.
Okay, so you've not looked at the fact that your workers physically come to work tired. Okay, you may not have control of the time they sleep, but you definitely have control of the time they leave work. You may not have control about their diets while they're at home, but you definitely have control of what they feed on when they come to work. There are workplaces where, of course, there is no lunch provided. And what happens? People are not eating the whole day. Okay, and how will this, a person who hasn't eaten, you know, they say an angry man is an angry man. Okay, so you find that the backlash will come to your customer experience. The customer is going to come and your worker is not well. Okay, is battling with ulcers because they don't eat on a regular basis. So it is important as a business owner to look at the physical wellness of your employee by looking at just their diet and their exercise. So you find that some workplaces have gone ahead and offered different, they pay for gyms for workers, but yes, this is very good, they do all this, but do they educate their workers about how important it is to actually go for that paid gym? Because many of them are paying for these amenities, but the workers will not go there.
True.
Yeah, they are almost, you know, some will say, I wish they hadn't paid and given me this money. So they have not internalized that we need to actually care for our wellness. It's very important that a business owner realizes that. Then, for again, how the social aspect of wellness, we have workers working. You need to inculcate the culture of them joining different groups, be it a circuit work. You have to give them that. You have to let them get those little social clubs that will enable them reduce on the stress at work. They need to find, you need to think about am I planning for them a retreat once in a while, a wellness retreat, a retreat where they are going to go just maybe to play and relax, nothing serious. So those are things as a business owner you have to look at. Then they are spiritual. Spiritual is a very wide topic, because are your workers able to practice their religions and even understand them? Because once they cannot practice even their religions, for some of them...
At the place of work or even when they're out of work.
Yes. And that's why you find in some communities they will put a designated prayer place.
Yeah.
Because for some workers, that can become a shock absorber of the stress from work. So it is important that you look at that wellness as an employee. Then mentally, how are you helping your workers, okay, learn new skills? How are you helping them feel part of this entity? Okay? Are you intellectually mentoring them? Are you giving them people to come talk to them, just to mentor them? These days, there are many kinds of coaches. There are even what we call transitional coaches. Coaches who will come to talk to your worker on the exit in case they have to retire. Okay? Now, that coach just coming and talking to your workers, it will mean that next time that worker is working with a positive mind. And who is gaining? It's you, the business owner. Okay? Then you find in occupation, there's a lot of issues, intrigue and all that. Okay? As a business owner, are you micromanaging? Because sometimes, because of that micromanaging, you're bringing a lot of stress. And why do people micromanage? No systems.
Yeah.
The lack of systems means that your boss would have to be standing by the sides, okay, just to see that an activity is done. So that also brings a lot of, and you find that because we do not put systems as business owners, we end up micromanaging. But micromanaging is going to put a lot of pressure on your workers. Another aspect is for your workers is their financials. So it is very important that you help your workers with mentors who will help them talk about their finances. Because what happens, the workers get a job, they get a salary loan.
Yeah.
Okay.
True.
Now, eventually, they can't even finance that salary loan. They buy a car, Okay, so they have a loan for a car and a loan for the salary, and in the process they're in this cycle. And what happens? Eventually they are getting worn out, and their wellness financially, they are not well.
Yeah,
they are not well. And what will happen is at the end of the day they are trying to cut corners and trying to look for other jobs, and who is suffering?
You, the employer.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I realize wellness is something so broad that very many people are underlooking. And I've also realized out of what you've just realized that if you want your business to grow, then you should mind about the welfare and the well-being of the employees. So let us look at, of course, we've talked about now the employer and the employee. Now, how does all this hit back to the business, especially when it comes to client-business relationship?
All right. So you find that when you have this unhealthy staff working with all your clients, it's like driving a car that has a bad engine. You can get all the way to Entebbe, okay? But you will waste a lot of time and resources. And so you have a workforce of unhealthy employees. Some of them, it is illness that requires medical. Some of them, it is illness that just requires these little habits we have talked about to change. And so you find that in companies where most companies will give medical allowances or go to our clinic, okay? Now, what is happening to you? You are spending much more money on treating your employees on something that could have been prevented with little awareness about their wellness. Because the new age we are going in is more a lot about how we prevent. Okay? We don't want, curing is hard. You want to prevent. And most of it comes from the smallest unit, which we ignore, our diet.
Okay. Well, before we go into a break, you talked about the empowerment you give mothers, and I loved it when you say that you give them hope that much as you're a mother, much as you're breastfeeding, it is still possible to do business. Now, I don't want to sound, I don't want to be gender segregative. I know my producer is about to look at me with a big eye. But let us now dwell much to the women you empower in business. And why do you think, or why do you look at women as a more vulnerable group of people that needs more of this empowerment than men?
All right. Women, as you know, I'm a mother of 5 wonderful children, okay? Very passionate about it. There are 4 boys and 1 girl. And when you have these children, what happens to a mother? You have to take time off. Okay? And as a mother, if you don't take care of your wellness, even right before you're getting conceiving, it means you're going to struggle all through the 9 months. Now here you are, you've opened a business, you are a woman, but you also get into these stages of life, okay, of pregnancy and maternity. Now, unless you've taken care of things like your diet, you won't kick back very fast. And unless you've taken things like your exercise and your day-to-day living, those little habits, it means you are going to be weaker than another mother. And so it will take you longer to get back into your business. So when I'm talking to these women, it's because I know we can thrive and do business, even with children. What do we require? The little habits, the little organizations we have to do. How can I organize my day so that it fits in my children, okay, and everything else that has to be done around those children and myself. but continue with business. So for a mother, there is need for them to look at how are they going to manage their finances, how is their wellness towards finances, how is their wellness towards organization, how is their wellness socially, do they have a support system? Otherwise they are going to be called and the person who is at home has left, who was looking after the children, they're at business.
As you're in your shop seated, yes, the neighbor calls you.
The children have been left alone. So it is important that we support the women further, not to ignore the men, but we have to support. So I am very passionate about supporting the women because I also know the challenges I got raising 5 children and what it meant. What did it mean? When can I go to work? When can I do what I have to do? But I was running business even then. Yes.
How was that possible?
I was running.
Because I imagine there is a mother out there who might be stranded at home. They don't know what to do next. They're even afraid. You know, there is that pressure, especially if you're employed, that you get when you spend a month away from your job. You're not sure whether by the time your maternity leave is over, you find the job. So there is that pressure that a mother out there is having, and they're afraid, how can I leave my baby now to start business and what?
Now, when we talk to mothers, okay, there is also sometimes a trust issue. You have to believe in the system you're creating as a mother. You have to believe in the system and to give the people who are supporting you that's the ability to know their responsibility. Okay. So as a mother, sometimes you might have to forego and pay more than necessary just to ensure that someone is with your child at home. Okay, because the maternity leave may be end. Okay, and if you're in business, when I had my children, there are times I was in Nakasero market with my child. So what does it mean? I had to know how to run that. I had to drive a car with a person helping me carry my child. I also had to get other systems that can help ensure that I continue with what I'm doing, as well as continue, being a mother. Yes.
Now, we have very many young people who are passionate, and yes, we've preached this message of passion unto you, and I believe that you've taken in this gospel of passion in business, and so you really want to start. You don't know how to start. You don't know what to do. You're just there lost. How can what message do you have to a young person who is out there? They are passionate, they have their ideas, but they don't know how they can give birth to these ideas to be serious businesses.
All right. The first thing I would tell the young people, find your why.
Find your why.
Find your why. Why are you beginning business? Because your why will also bring about what challenges you go through. Are you starting the business out of passion? Or are you starting it because you've been inspired by someone?
My friend told me this business is now the one booming in town, so I feel I should also start it.
Okay. I'm going to get there. And then, are you starting the business because you see a gap? Now, those 3 people are all different people. But some people open them because of 2 reasons. So they can join, maybe you want to fill a gap, but you're also passionate. Okay? Now, the young person who starts a business out of passion, okay, chances are will not worry so much of the downs when the things are not going well and it's affecting their wellness. They can buffer because they love what they are doing. Now, for me who may see a gap, I get into business, I see a gap. I get into business and I've realized, okay, people need more mobile phones, so I begin a mobile shop. And things are not going as planned, okay? It means, did I do my homework? Because now what is affecting me is the financial wellness of that business. Now the person who had a friend, and a friend inspired them, they are talking about, now, if you start a forest of trees, you will get so much money in the selling of trees after 5 years, or there is this, invest in this money. The challenge with that person, the moment things do not work out, they will feel like crashing. And now, what ways can we buffer these young people? Okay, because they will start business. Uganda is one of those countries where people are opening up businesses all the time. So people are bound, young people are bound to start businesses all the time. What can we help them? They have to plan financially. Part of that planning will give them a buffer on if things are not going well. Can they plan from at least 1 year of being in business? Will the finances I have take the business about 6 months? If they are not enough, what am I looking? Am I going to turn to my family? That is your support system. So you do not cut it out. But even your support system needs to know that, I'm giving Edrine this money. It is going to be good giving. It's going to be worthwhile. Okay, so it is important as you begin business to know that you will need a support system. You can't flourish alone. Be it that you're going to get other business friends. Okay, so for young people, please, when you begin a business, look for a mentor. Okay, because there are many experiences. You do not try to reinvent the wheel sometimes. People try to reinvent the wheel, but people have done it, experienced it. Look for these people. If they are in a society, if it's I have to join Business Network International, if I have to join Rotary, Toastmasters, join that network where you will have a group of people who become like free information bearers for you. And these people will be like your board of directors who you're not paying for. But they will be willing to walk the journey with you. Because otherwise, business is going to get lonely when you see that you're the only one in business, maybe in your family, and things are not going well. You're going to get lonely and depressed alone. And you will not talk to anyone that, I got a big tax invoice and I don't know what to do. If not, if you can't get a mentor, you need to get a consultant. Good enough, the world now, there are many consultants, tax consultants. You need to find those people. As you're opening business, people, of course, in the beginning, you don't have money to pay for some of these services, but look for people you can talk to advise you as a young person. And then start small. No one got there. Even the small, even the big companies, we are talking about the Google, the Facebook. You find that many of them, when you see where they began from, they started small. And don't try to get a shortcut. There are no shortcuts in making money sometimes. If you're doing a shortcut, you're stealing. Walk the journey, walk the path. And what happens sometimes, young people start. We all did that. We started businesses. I remember in university I had a business. Why did I continue? We start a business, we stop halfway. When things are not going well, you stop that business. And then the time you come back to that business, you're like, my friend who stayed is now building mansions. It happens a lot. You're like, by the way, was with that colleague of mine who were doing the same thing, or even you were working together, because we cut the journey short. Persevere. But the only way I have seen that you can persevere is if you have that support network that will keep you in check, that will keep your wellness in balance. They will be supporting you financially, they are giving you advice. This other support system is mentally keeping your emotions well. This support, you have your family to push you and tell you keep going. Start small and grow, but perseverance. Then for young people again, let them utilize the connections they have. Sometimes we have to start new connections. Go join clubs. Okay, watch the clubs, of course, you join, because some can be toxic. And actually some can cause mental health problems. So just watch the clubs you're going to join as a young person. But young people getting into business is wonderful, and it's always great to mentor those young people and to see them flourish. And if we have that spirit of holding each other's hands, of saying, Edrine, what do you need? Proceed, what do you need to go forward? Then that way, once we are standing together, it is a strong link. But if you decide to work alone, it's going to be a weak link.
Now, when you talk about working alone, you've reminded me about a very sad story of one of the people who employed me when I just completed my senior 6. Of course, this was casual employment. They would pay us daily. But time reached, I think, by the time I joined this company, it was in its end times, if I can put it. It was in its end times. Why? When I was 3 months old, the boss, the director, developed issues, health issues, and before we knew, he had a stroke which didn't even last long with him. Within a short period of time, he lost his life. But later, as we're interacting with the wife, his greatest fear was that in whose hands is he leaving this business? And this was actually the reason he died faster. Why? Because each time because they had advised him to rest, but he could not rest. Even when he was on his sick bed, he had at least to get a wheelchair.
To sign checks.
Get a wheelchair and show up at the business. So after his death, of course, the business didn't last more than 2 weeks. As we're on his vigil, the business was already falling and falling and falling. After 2 weeks, it was no more up to date. So there is a weakness, especially when it comes to the exit. Very many people are there dying. They have reached a retirement age, but they can't retire because they missed out when it comes to the exit strategy. How can someone build up this strategy and in time so that they don't develop issues as their businesses grow up?
Now, the exit strategy is as important as the financial plan of your business. As we plan our businesses, the exit is very important. And if this exit is ignored initially, which people ignore a lot, am I building this business to be passed on to my family? Am I building this business to be a franchise? Or am I building this business because I want to hold it for 4 years, 3 years, and then sell it off, okay, in some sort of arrangement, goodwill kind of arrangement? Now, we have noticed that many of us don't think about that exit strategy. And it also goes on the employees' side. Employees are working in businesses, but they are not considering the exit strategy.
The moment you're employed, you think
It's forever. So what happens
until death?
when the person is let go at work, 1 month down the road, they pass on. Now, we all need to plan that exit strategy to know that the business will go on beyond me. Pro Wellness is not about me. Okay? And for me, I've thought of that exit strategy. If I'm not able to run Pro Wellness, so that's where you bring in other players. So I'm always willing and wishing to collaborate. Because once you don't give your business that opportunity of collaboration, of growing with others, it means it's isolated. And so you're bearing this vision alone. We need to bear the vision with others. But we can only bear the vision with others if we have thought early about it. Otherwise, you will bear the vision of the business alone, and the moment any disturbance, or maybe you're even away for a week, the business has to go down.
True.
Because it may not be death. It may be you need to be away for months, maybe taking care of a sick patient, or you need to step down, you need to rest.
Yeah.
And so we all have to plan that exit strategy. It can be long term or short term. If I need to go away from my business for a few weeks, what do I do? And I think that is a challenge that we all struggle with. But the moment we can realize it, that is part of all our intellectual working together with our emotions, that my business is not me, the business is beyond me.
Wow. So what about those who, is it logic anyway, or is it business? If you're doing whatever you're doing, but all about you, and so you don't think of, like, you have no plans, and in you it is not that after me this will survive, it is only me, it is entirely me. Is it should we call that business as well?
That person has opened a business, they are thinking it's only about them, but reality is what wakes them up. You don't want reality to wake you up, because usually reality wakes you up very harshly. Reality doesn't wait for you to prepare yourself.
True.
It wakes you up. It simply gets you out of your dreams. And maybe that's the reality that came when COVID hit.
Yeah.
It woke up everyone to think. And what did we need at that time? What were we fighting for? We were only fighting for our immunity.
True.
And we were only fighting for our wellness.
True.
That's all we had to care for. That's when we all, people realize, oh, I think I need vitamin C and zinc. Okay? Reality woke us up. It did not wait for us to prepare ourselves, to get our immunity in order, to exercise, to go, meditate, to spend time praying, to woke us up, and we had to do it.
Exactly.
We don't want to go back. I would assume we have learned. We don't want to go. So wellness is something we now have.
Why I think most Ugandans have not learned is because when there were threats of Ebola lockdown, people were, we don't want to go back into the lockdown. Why? Because people have no strategies. So,
there are no strategies, but it's time. It's time to realize we are in a new age. You either go with the bus that has set off, or you're falling out. Now the bus that has set off is for us to plan better. For us to take our wellness more seriously. That if I am feeling tired all the time, it's not supposed to be recurrent. Okay? That means either I'm not sleeping enough, or that means at my age, maybe I'm not absorbing all my nutrients. Or maybe I'm eating, if you look at my whole day, I eat I spend a lot of time eating carbohydrates. I never eat my fruits, I never eat my vegetables. So your body is struggling to just digest, and that is just, it looks simple, but it's affecting how you're feeling.
Yeah.
You're always tired.
And at the end of the day, it will affect your output as well.
Yes.
So, talking about wellness, when should someone use food supplements, and which kind of food supplements does Pro Wellness offer?
So, usually, there are many nutritional supplements. There are supplements that come in terms of teas, okay? You see people buying matcha tea, buying red maca, they are buying turmeric, you know, or they are that kind of nutritional supplements. But there are also supplements, multivitamins, that are only looking at the vitamins. And why are there many multivitamins? Because scientists have realized that the engine of the body, though ignored, are the vitamins. That once it's like an engine without oil, you don't notice it until the oil is finished, the car can't start. Yeah. Okay? So it is the oil behind the whole body. We need those vitamins. And so COVID came, we needed vitamin C and a mineral called zinc. We all did, no? We needed it. And so what happens, you find many people spend a whole year and they are running on low levels of maybe vitamin C and just zinc. Yeah. And what is going to fight their infections? Just that. So you find that we need to see those little changes. Some people, you've had people who have been told that, you know what, your B12 is low. So they need to get that supplement. So supplements can be herbal. But you see what happened in COVID? Yeah. They told people herbal, people made all sorts of concoctions.
Sure.
So in Provita, we don't make concoctions because vitamins, as much as it seems it's just a vitamin, but someone can be poisoned out of a vitamin. Too much of certain vitamins are not good for your body. So it is important that someone gets lab-tested multivitamins or lab-tested multivitamins, so that when they take it, it's in a proportion that cannot affect their body. Because most times your body will fight to absorb all the vitamins you need. But because of our feeding habits, I don't like fruits, I don't eat a portion of fruits the whole day. I eat my beans and matoke. I eat at lunch, katogo. In the morning I eat bread. In the evening I have my vinyewa, whatever.
Even as we speak, there is a young man who ate commando for lunch, and they have just bought their commando for supper. Yes.
So that person, definitely their vitamins, they do this year in, year out. Their vitamins are struggling. And then there are those who decide, I'm going to be vegetarian. So definitely that one has to go on something to supplement and a multivitamin to help them. Okay. And then also there are multivitamins we have after the age of 30. There are vitamins and proteins we sell, like collagen. After the age of 30, most people are running low on them and they need a boost. Yes. But most times things show on us, and the way it can be the way you're feeling always tired, things show. So we come out to offer good multivitamins from the United States for people.
Where is Pro Wellness found? Chanja.
Yes.
Now, what is your last remark? In a minute, what is your last message to someone who started with us and they're still watching us up to now?
My last remark for our viewers, thank you so much. We don't take it for granted that they are here. And I really urge you to take your wellness into your hands. It begins with you, with the simple things of the way you run your day. It all begins with you. Start small, start slowly, grow, and consider the relationships that you're involved in. or the people you're involved with, because some of these cause our wellness to go down very fast. The people we interact with, the clubs we join, the social gatherings we go to. Take care of your wellness. Take care of your spiritual life. Take time to meditate. As a business owner, that time of meditation becomes your strongest weapon, because that's when you can plan, that's when you can visualize. It's very important that we look at all those aspects. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this time you've given in to educate and empower our viewers. And when you talk about taking time to meditate, it is important here on Church of Uganda Family TV that after this show, Flourishing Hub, we shall have evening prayer, and we shall also have daily devotion in the morning. But remember to wake up with us on Good Morning Family from 7 to 10 a.m. I remain Edrine Austin Mukalazi. Now, my producer prompted me to speak out my other name that I've always reserved. So I remain Edrine Austin Mukalazi Achebe. Good night. God bless you.